When you're a soul-led individual, you will be completely misunderstood by a lot of people. You might even have them criticize you and judge you for not making the rational decision, the conventional decision, and it can feel very lonely and it can actually start to fill you with self doubt. But I want to reassure you today and I want to reaffirm that if you are someone who is soul led, to continue on that path, to follow that deeper signal that regardless of how it feels irrational to the outer world, to you it is something deeply aligned, deeply true, and something you have to pursue. And I'm not just saying this, that's who I am. I'm a soul-led individual, and by that, I like to think of it as most are ego-led, and by ego-led, I mean complex driven by fear and persona, and they are asking their soul essentially to either quiet down, repress, or tag along with me. My ego's guiding me, and that's just the way it is. And the way that I like to think of how that manifests is individuals who are purely ego-led can do any job, any business, can hang out with anyone that either furthers the gain of the ego, or it can squash and quiet the pain and the noise from within. Someone who is the inverse of that, somebody who is soul-led, will say, I gotta go where my inner intuition, my deeper sense of self is telling me to go, and I'm gonna use my ego as a way to make sure I don't walk off a cliff, metaphorically speaking. Or maybe literally speaking, I don't know. But essentially, there's something in you, a deeper connected place that is orienting you in a path that in some way you can't say no to. And this was something that I've always, since I was a child, fought against, because you just look at society and you look at the world around you, everything is very much fear, complex based, persona, group, collective mentality driven. And so you get this pressure to squeeze into things, squeeze into a path that makes good money or feels stable. And I've always wondered about myself as to why I'm just not driven to do those things. I can't get myself to do it. No matter how much money that this career promises me, no matter how much fame, no matter how much attention, when you're soul-led, that also means to a degree you're more consciously aware of the fears, of the memories, of the challenges, the shadows that you live with. And once you're made aware of them, they're not in control of you the same anymore. They come and go, but you are no longer blindly driven by them. And what that inevitably means is that when I look at a job and I get told, why don't you go pursue this career? I thought to myself, you know what? If I do, I would be absolutely miserable and I wouldn't be able to do it for 5 minutes, let alone 10 years, 20-year career. It's just not possible for me. And when I started training jiu-jitsu and that was where my soul said to go, I need to go in this direction. Okay. Now, was there a mix of complexes in there? Was there a mix of fear? Of course there was. But fundamentally, if I'm being pointed inwardly to go in a direction, I can't change its mind. I need to go where it goes. And oh boy, was I was I criticized for it. I was definitely judged for it. Beforehand, I wouldn't say called lazy, but I clearly knew the people around me referred to me as lazy, uncommitted, undisciplined. But when the soul picked something, I went in 100%, trained every single day, pushed my limits, excelled, got to a really high degree, a high level in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for where I am in Toronto. I won provincials multiple times, won over 25 medals, most of them being gold. Trained for 13 years now, and which completely debunks the whole undisciplined, lazy, unmotivated, all these things. It's because you are led by something deeper Something within you is calling you to do something, whether that be, that doesn't matter. I can't name it because it is fully subjective to you. But what's really important to understand is that you're on the right path. You are on the right path. It may not feel like it in the moment. It really will not. You may struggle with money. You may struggle with friends. You may struggle with criticism. And you will struggle with doubt. You will have fear creep in. You will have this all of a sudden feeling of maybe I am doing the wrong thing. Maybe people are right. And I should just take a secure, safe job. Or maybe I should start a business in something that I've been, practicing in for 5 years. But if you break the orientation of your soul, it will bother you deeply. It will upset you. It will disrupt your flow. And I don't want to say you will regret it because you never know. I can't say for sure. But from my personal intuition, my sense of self, I will. So after 13 years of jiu-jitsu, all of a sudden I wake up one day and I have this immediate shift, this change in direction. My inner compass now is telling me to move towards helping people in a different way. I've helped people learn how to fight and learn how to defend themselves and learn techniques on how to strangle people, throw people, pin people, and it was great and I loved it. And I still do. I still do love it. But immediately when that inner compass said, okay, this is where we're going to have to go, that clash began. My ego was clashing. My ego was saying, what are we doing? This is foolish. Why are we going in this direction? Why are you pointing my attention towards something that I don't know where it can go? How are we going to actually make a financial living from it? And so the ego was in distress. But anytime I tuned in, anytime I went down into the deepest part of myself, it felt the most true, the most aligned. And when I tap into that space, I can see my future. I can experience it. I can feel it. You might even say I can smell it. I can vividly experience it. Now, I can't pinpoint exactly this is how it's going to go because it can never really fully predict that. But it is something from within that is a clear picture saying we need to move in this direction now. And when you reflect back, and if you're right now also struggling with it, if you're soul-led, maybe like me, you've committed to something for a very long time, and then immediately, boom, your soul says, no, we're going in this direction now. And you're feeling distressed. You might even be grieving the old you, the you that you've built up until that point, and now being told, we're going to have to shed that off. If you're grieving with it, it's okay. Allow the grieving process to continue. There is nothing to solve. And this is something you have to really understand, is that you may feel like you have to solve something. You have to fix it. You're depressed or you're miserable. Fundamentally, you're going through transition. You're going through transition, and that period can be very difficult, and it is very difficult. And you will be grieving the old you, the memories you've built, the persona you've built, because it's helped you and assisted you at a certain point in your life. But then understand that when you're soul-led, it all works itself out in the end. It almost always does. Not without its struggles. It'll never be a smooth ride. But as you continue trusting and following it, you're going to land more and more into the real, authentic you, which is where I'm at right now. For me, being called to understand inner work and shadow work and personal development in a deeper way, understanding about dreams, and understanding how to package all of this together to help other people do the exact same thing, uncover their stories, understand their complexes, making spiritual growth, making personal development not have to be so complicated. It doesn't need to be rocket science. It doesn't need to be anything that you need to have a crazy degree in. You just need to understand the fundamentals. And you need to also have a balance between the rational and productivity hacks to get yourself to do A, B, and C throughout the day efficiently. But then you also have to incorporate the human aspect, the irrational, the volatile, the feeling that one day you just want to be lazy, you don't want to do anything, and being accepting of it. And then also incorporating the mythic, the spiritual, the transcendent experience, the connection to something outside of you, the divine, and having all those be packaged together, because that's how I've lived my whole life. I've lived my life with productivity because that's just part of me. I lived my life with the mythic, the desire for divine connection and spiritual elevation. However, I have lacked the human aspect that I've had to build on for the last number of years, which is being okay with myself being lazy, okay with myself being sometimes unpredictable, sometimes getting emotional and being sensitive and wanting to express emotion and cry and be vulnerable and having all that range. Having incorporated all of them now, things are a lot better. But anyways, circling back to finish everything off, if you are soul-led, follow the path. Stay consistent. Use your ego to help orient you, and not really, I should say orient, but just clear the path. Make sure that, again, you're not walking off a cliff. Because if you're just fundamentally soul-led, you will risk too much. You could jeopardize your family's safety, your financial situation. So there is a balance to be made. And the balance is soul-led, ego-governed in a way. The ego will say, okay, well, let's make sure at least we have a plan. Let's make sure we have a structure. Let's make sure that, if we're going along the way, that we're saving money, that we're doing X, Y, and Z. It assists. Think of it that way then. Soul-led, ego-assisted. Boom. I think that's a lot better. I'm going to coin that one for myself. Or what the hell, you can take it. It doesn't matter. If you want more assistance on uncovering the stories of your life that have been controlling you, your complexes, diving into shadow work, elevating your spiritual growth, and if you resonate with what I said about combining the aspects of productivity and making plans and goals and setting them for yourself, but then also incorporating the human aspect so you're not putting an unwanted amount of stress and burden over you. And then also incorporating the myth, the spiritual, the drive towards divine connection. If that is all resonating with you, you can go ahead and click the first button, download my free guide, Identity Initiation. And this one, I pretty much organize it the way I dive deep into myself to understand the stories of my life and what controlled me, and to how to rewrite them and make peace with them and understand how they work and connect into my everyday life. Absolutely for free. So go ahead and click it. It'll be a lot of value for you. And of course, if you want to get more deeper guidance, because I know this is very hard to do on your own, or maybe you're on the path and you just need more assistance, someone who's walked the path themselves and is continuing to walk it and grow and be committed, click the second button, the second link below, and book a call with me. And then finally, I've left it alone for a couple videos, but the secret project that I'm working on, I'm continuing to work on it. I want to make sure I just want to get the kinks locked and adjusted and tweaked and make everything nice and smooth. And not only that, I actually have 2 secret projects that I'm working on. So not just one, I've now incorporated 2. And I'm very excited. I don't want to share any more. I just want to get you guys excited about it. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. I will see you on the next video.